Welcome back to It's Not You, It's Your Trauma. I'm Joe Ryan. If you want to know more about me, go to my website, joeryan.com. I offer group sessions and one-on-one coaching. You can sign up for a free coaching session, 30 minutes long, no obligation, to see if I'm a right fit for you. I also have a new book coming out. It'll be out in a couple of weeks. I'm going to update the website over the next couple of days with the cover art and a book synopsis. We're rolling into episode 100 here. It's a little bit long, but it's recapping the journey from right before I started the podcast and what it was like working through it, the things that I discovered, found out. The hardest part about this was being seen. I took all the things that I hated about myself and hid from not only myself and the world, and I turned them inside out, and I just put them out there, and it ended up to being the greatest source of healing in my life. This really, truly is the way out, is being seen and coming out of hiding to realize that the parts of me that I hated and just disgusted me. It was about reframing it and surviving being seen in it. Once we can survive being seen in it, we no longer have to hide it, and we're just that much more emotionally freer. So I hope you enjoy it. All right, here we go. All right, this is episode 100, which is unbelievable considering I never, ever, ever wanted to do a podcast ever. This has been one of the most painful, embarrassing, and humiliating journeys of my life. But it got me to the other side. It broke every family system rule. It broke every layer of protection. I spent my life hiding everything that I hated about me inside. And this podcast was me exposing myself to myself and to the world. Basically just putting my deep, dark, crazy shit out there and then nursing myself through it. It was exposing myself in a way that I never thought I would be able to do. I mean, I just protected this stuff. I pretended. I wore a mask. My codependency, my self-hate, my humiliation, my shame, my guilt. I had disassociated from that. I had pushed it so far away. I've cut it off. I put on a mask. I pretended that everything was fine and good and look how well adjusted, and I was all in my ego, and it was just absolute bullshit. The pain of putting myself out there and then basically hiding under the covers, waiting for somebody to come down on me in some way, shape, or form. When you are not allowed to be sad, when you're not allowed to be hurt, when you grow up in a place that people can't deal with your feelings and your emotions and you have no place to put them, you just bury them. And that's the way I went through life. Just let's keep stuffing it down. Let's pour some chemicals on it, some drugs, some sex, some gambling, anything to stay away from it. And, it doesn't even feel like this was a choice doing this. I used to journal a lot, and journaling gave me so much relief, and it stopped working for me. And it was a Christmas Eve, and I was with my kids, and they went back to their mothers late that night, and Christmas Day I'd woken up, and I was miserable. I was alone. I had left my family. The only real connections I had in the world were my kids, and they weren't around on the holidays. And I plugged in a microphone, and I just started talking. And the relief that I used to get from journaling, I had gotten from speaking into the mic, but it was like tenfold. That rumination, that loop of constant thoughts of trying to think my way out of the shame and the pain it never worked. But when I spoke it, it was like that loop ended and it came out of me. And the more words, feelings, and emotions that I dumped out through the microphone, the more space that I was creating inside. You see, I've said it before, emotions are energy in motion, and that energy has to go somewhere. And if you don't work it through and process it and grieve it out, cry it out, anger it out, it just stays in you. And as the years go on, trying to hold that energy back, you get older, you get weaker, your metabolism slows down, you can't run as fast, and it will catch up to you. So by dumping it out of me into the mic, clearing that space and taking me to the places of sadness and hurt and pain and anger and allowing me to work through it, just made me emotionally lighter. And again, it wasn't like it was like a choice anymore. It was almost like the little kid in me that has been ignored, that has been hated on, that has been neglected. It just took over. It was almost as if it said to me, listen, old man, you have fucked this shit up long enough. I am taking over whether you like it or not. And I just kept recording and recording, and there was no way this was ever going out to the world. There was no way. And I had worked for a guy for quite a long time. We were good friends. He was always dealing with anxiety and struggling. And we always had these incredible conversations. And one day I said, listen, bro, you got to do me a favor. I said, you got to listen to this. I said, but I can't be here for it. I said, I'm just going to send you the file and we'll talk tomorrow. And when I came back into the office the next day, the first words out of his mouth was, how the fuck is this not a podcast? And my reply was, because nobody can know my crazy. Nobody can know my inner workings. I can't put this out there in the world and think that I'm going to survive somehow. And weeks went by, a month or two went by, and he kept hammering away at me a little at a time. And I figured out how to create an account, how to publish the podcast. And days, I would wake up every morning. I'm like, today's the day. Sure enough, it wasn't. I would try to get myself to hit that publish button, and I just couldn't do it. And then that little kid took over again, and it was like, sorry, old man, get out of the way. You are no longer driving the car. It is now my time at the wheel. And I hit publish. And I'll never forget, it was like 6 o'clock at night, and I crawled into my bedroom, and I put my head under the covers, and I just lay there in terror, panic, and fear. And it was all of the projection of how people were going to perceive this and how they were going to look at me. See, I hated myself. I hated the way I perceived myself, that I have to be a nice guy, people pleaser, and get positive mirroring faces to offset the self-hate. And now I'm putting something out there that's going to cause me to be judged, that's not shiny, that's not polished, that doesn't look or sound good. It was just raw emotion. And for 3 days, I just laid there pretty much not functioning and negotiating with myself, the little kid that's like, we need to do this, dude. And the outer adult going, shut the fuck up. We don't need to do this. This is going to destroy us. And I just kept going back and forth with the two voices inside of me. And about 3 days went by, and I opened the app and I looked, and I had 0 listens. And that gave me a huge, huge sigh of relief. I mean, it was like, thank God nobody's listening to this. And then I was able to kind of come out of that shameful, fearful coma that I was in. And I started to function. And 2 more days went by, and I opened up the app and I had 7 listens. And then the fear and the panic came in again. And I just kept saying, take it down, delete it, remove it. Don't let that be out there anymore. 7 people is way too many. But there was that kid in me that just wouldn't allow me to do it. The inner voice, the heart and soul, the neglected, abused child that voice started winning out over the guilt and the shame and the fear. And it was so powerful. And it was this force that just came out from within me that was pushing me to come out of my comfort zone, to put myself in places that I would have never, ever thought I would be able to be put myself into. And it was like I lost control of all my protection and all my defenses. And it was role reversal. The little kid was becoming empowered, and the scared outer adult was becoming disempowered. And like, I couldn't stop. The little kid was just like, we need to record more. We need to put more episodes out. We need to start getting engaged. We need to come out of hiding. We need to be seen. I don't care how painful this is. I've been living in pain for decades, and you haven't seemed to give a shit. You're running around like a lunatic. You're drinking, you're drugging, you're chasing women, you're chasing the high, you're chasing gambling, you're chasing, self-esteem, self-worth. You're trying to find love in all the wrong places, and it hasn't worked out. We're going this route, whether you like it or not. And I basically had taken a back seat for all of these years, for probably till like episode 87. And then it was almost like I was coming out of the trance, in the sense that the little emotional child and the outer adult, over the course of all those episodes, that great divide between the two of us started to come together. And I was becoming more whole and complete. All of the things and the parts of me that I'd cut off and ignored for so long, it was like it was getting back incorporated into my being. And it was becoming more one, more whole, more complete. And there's a peace in it. So you're clearing out space. You're being seen. You're facing your fears. You're negotiating and nursing yourself through them. And you're integrating all of the parts of you that you hate. And I didn't have a choice. They were out there in the world. Like, there's no turning back. Even if I deleted everything at this moment, people have heard it. So, fuck it. I'm here. Let's keep going. This has been the greatest source of my healing. It forced me to look at myself in ways that I had never wanted to. And the most amazing part about this is, because of you, because you listened, because you've written me, because of the comments, because of the reviews, the feedback, the positive mirroring, you were just as important and instrumental in my growth and my healing and my recovery as I was. Like, if I put it out there and nobody ever listened, you think I would keep doing it? Like, there was something about the way it felt connected. Like, I lived in a world where nobody wanted to hear me. Nobody wanted to value me. My feelings and emotions didn't matter. I can't tell you how many times in my life I heard, shut the fuck up with your psychological bullshit. Nobody wants to fucking hear it. And I was like 11 when I was getting those words. It felt wrong to have insights and to dig into yourself, because it was so rejected where I came from. You became my surrogate family. You became the connection that I needed, connecting on this incredibly deep, painful, soulful level, that there were other humans out there in the world who had gone through what I've gone through, who can relate, who I could connect with. I can't even tell you how much healing you have given me in this journey. I mean, it's fucking powerful. I say this all the time. The thing we want most is the thing we fear the most, which is connection, because it was never safe. It wasn't safe to be us. Everything that came out through this microphone was the raw vulnerability that I needed to go into to build strength to heal. And if you are not there, if you are not listening, if you are not interacting with me, it doesn't happen. This is how powerful you are. This is how powerful we are. When we can connect on a real, genuine level, and we can break down those walls of defenses, and we can open up and be vulnerable with somebody that we trust, with somebody that gets it, that's where all the healing lies. I mean, I can't tell you some of the messages, the emails that I have gotten where absolute fucking strangers have poured their heart and soul out to me in an email. The courage and the bravery that, it's like, this sounds weird, but it's like an honor that somebody who doesn't know me personally had the bravery and the courage to hand me their deepest, darkest shit and trust me with it. Like, it still blows me away every time I get one of those emails. So you can see how you just need somebody in your life that you could be vulnerable with, and how it changes everything. If I wasn't so raw and so vulnerable in the episodes, people wouldn't have reached out with their rawness and their openness and their vulnerability. That's where all of this lives. It's coming out of hiding. It's confronting the parts of you that you feel unlovable, the parts of you that are humiliating to you, the parts of you that are embarrassing, and start facing them and realizing what I realized in this journey, that I wasn't alone, even though the way my family system was set up was isolation. You don't talk outside of the family. You don't divulge family secrets. You don't talk about hurt and pain. I had nowhere to put it, and I carried it for decades, for as long as I could, and I was at the worst place I had ever been. I mean, I cracked. I was looking for a reason to keep breathing. And this was it. Once I started opening up and connecting, what I realized was I do have some worth and value. And I couldn't have known that unless you showed up. Everything that I thought was wrong, the way you stayed safe, the way you stayed protected, it doesn't work. It was opening up and being raw and real and vulnerable and connecting on that level, which has gotten me to a place that I've only ever dreamed of. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be like elite status, rich, famous, living in that world, private jets, not having to worry about money, people looking at me a certain way. Like, I felt so shitty about myself that the grandiose vision of what happiness would be for me was this whole ego-driven status place to arrive at. And it's not that at all. I've arrived at okay. My life right now is not much different than when I had lost everything and tried to start rebuilding. Like, you look around and there's nothing special. Like, I needed to be special or feel special because I felt so bad. And now I've arrived at okay. And okay is great. I don't need the cars, the notoriety, the fame, the fortune, the elite status. Like, it's all bullshit because this is all internal. Even if I obtained all of that, it was never going to heal anything inside of me. So the goal is just to arrive at okay with yourself. And recovery is possible. Believe me, I never thought I would end up here. I never thought feeling good about yourself was a possibility. Arriving at okay internally is the goal. You see, from here, I have choices. because I never had choices. I was always chasing something because I was always running from myself. If I'm running from myself, I'm chasing something to get away from me. And now I can stand still. And I could just be present in my own life. And now, instead of being pushed by running and chasing, I actually get to make choices based on what's good for me. But I didn't know what was good for me because I didn't know who I was. But in this journey of 100 episodes, I got to find out who I was. And it's really, you are a huge part of it. Get inside. I can guarantee, as painful and as humiliating and as disgusting feelings as this journey has been, I have never arrived at one of those places inside of me and did not survive or figure out how to work through it. It was so hard for me to come out of hiding. And there's still parts of me that I'm hiding. There's still parts of me that I'm fearful. I don't live with panic. I don't live with anxiety. Like where I am at this moment, everything in my life is peaceful and easily manageable. The things that I'm hiding and the fears that I still carry is moving forward. You see, just being in protective mode for all of these years, I don't know how to live any other way. And I'm at this new place, but I've only been here for about an hour. So this takes, instead of surviving, this takes a different kind of strength to move forward in the direction that you want to move in. And part of it is, I don't know what direction I want to move in. Because again, I've only been here for a very short period of time. So it's living here now and being patient and having gratitude that I've arrived here. And the only thing that's going to change this right now is time. I have to keep living where I'm at, get more comfortable with it and more confidence with it. Like, I have not wanted to be in front of a microphone probably for the last 15, 20 episodes because I've been in this growth arc. And I'm not the guy I used to be. I don't have that hurt and pain. I can't access those places because they're not in me anymore. I've worked them through. I've exercised them out. And it's learning how to speak from this different place. And there's fear in that, right? Like, it's all I've ever known is that one place of talking from raw hurt and pain. And now that it's not there, I have to learn how to live and be without it. It's like I lost my identity. I lost my pain and suffering. No matter what, that was what I relied on. And that's where the self-sabotage comes in. My identity was how bad my life was, how hard I've had it. Look how strong I am because of the way I've survived. Like, that was like a badge of honor that I carried. And it was so much of my identity. Anytime anything good ever happened to me, I would fucking blow it up because I didn't know how to live without it. And that's where I am right now. I'm learning how to live without surviving, without carrying my pain and suffering like a badge of honor, because it's just not fucking there. I wake up every day and I'm like, where's the anxiety? Where's the panic? Where's the fear? Like, I know it's coming back, but it's been months and it just doesn't come back. And it's not to say shit doesn't happen in my life. It does. The only thing is I'm so present and I'm so not coming from this place of fear that when it shows up, I process and work through it in a more mature way. It's like I've grown up emotionally. I've parented that little kid in me that was so frightened. And it was lonely. And it was painful. And I've lost a lot of people along the way because I'm not the wild man. I'm not the funny guy. I'm not the partier. I'm not the good wingman anymore because all of that is meaningless. And everybody wants old Joe back. But Joe fucking hated that guy. And that guy is dead. And he ain't never fucking coming back. So it's almost like you took a dry erase board to your identity and now you get to build it any way you want. And only time is going to help me evolve into how I want to live and what I want to do. Emotionally, I feel like I'm 24 years old and I have my whole life in front of me, and I got to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And it's kind of nice to have choices. So I really, truly want to thank everybody who's taken the ride. I know some of you have been with me from the beginning. I mean, we're still communicating, which I love. I love the fact that you've been here the whole way with me. You have made this journey feel so much less isolating and alone. The coaching is what I love. What I love about it, there's a lot of things I love about it, but I think the thing with the coaching is everything that I have been through in this life, all the suffering, all that I've endured, all that I've worked through, it couldn't have been for nothing. Like I have to give back. There's nothing more satisfying than I want to drag all of you with me to the other side. I can't make you show up. And I don't care if it's me or anybody else on this planet, but you have to come out of hiding, and you need somebody who gets what you've been through. Somebody that can identify, somebody that has worked through it, somebody that has, they just have to be a little bit further down the road than you are so that they can start guiding you. But, again, the podcast, it's hard for me to see the worth and value. But with the coaching, I find it so rewarding. I think I'm 1,000% better at the coaching than I am at the podcast. And it's, I had a guy come in for a consultation, and I said, what brought you here today? And he goes, I've been wanting to do this for 18 months. And I go, well, what took you so long? And he goes, well, I was intimidated. He goes, I listened to your podcast and you're so hardcore and raw. He goes, I was afraid you were going to emotionally beat the shit out of me. And I don't know if it comes off that way, but I am definitely a lot softer in sessions. And I would love to meet you. I would love to guide you. Come in for a free consultation. If you're 30 minutes, and I can guarantee you are going to walk away with some insights and some practical tools that if you come back, you don't come back, you're still going to have something to take with you. And I've had people come in for consultations, and 9 months later, they come back for sessions. Like, it takes time. I know how difficult it is to come out of hiding. It's hard for me to remember now because I'm out of it. But I do have that compassion and that understanding when you show up, how difficult it is, how brave, how courageous to come out of hiding and to be seen and show up in front of somebody and go, here's some of my worst shit. Like, we're not programmed and conditioned to live that way and to be that way. But I can tell you this, by putting all of my shit out there in the world the way I have, it has been the biggest source of growth emotionally in my life. I have journaled for decades. I have read books. I have listened to audiobooks. I have listened to podcasts. I've gone to seminars. I've tried everything on the planet, and none of it worked until I got into the feelings and emotions and allowed myself to see myself and to allow others to see me. And when you go to therapy, when you go to coaching, what you're allowing is somebody to see you. But the thing is, they're going to have a different perspective. You have your way of thinking and being about you. And you're trapped in this thought cage and belief cage that you're going to need somebody that's going to mirror it differently, that's going to give you a different perspective. Because you can only see what you feel about yourself. And you need an outside viewer. You need that compassionate witness. You need a surrogate parent to teach you how to raise yourself so that you can grow up emotionally, that you can caretake for yourself, that you can be there for yourself and stop abandoning, that will go with you in the feelings and the emotions to the places that you need to go to unlock the key, to get those light bulb moments, to have those cathartic releases. so that you can clear out space and realize that you're not alone in this. You didn't deserve what happened, but your perception of you is not the truth. And you need somebody to challenge that. You need somebody to show you a different perspective, a different way of living, to help you build up your self-esteem. The worst part about this with childhood is never having a place to put your hurt and pain. And it just spins around in you over and over in this endless fucking loop, and it goes nowhere. It has to come out. You have to go into it and feel it and re-experience it so you can reframe it. And that's terrifying. There's nothing more frightening that I can think of than to go to the worst abuse that my unconscious is trying to protect me from remembering. And let alone do it in fucking front of somebody else. But when we do the coaching, we start off small and slow. We don't go to the worst things. We take away the top layers because they're the least painful to work with. And we get comfortable peeling away the layers and having those light bulb moments and having the cathartic releases. And then we go a little bit further. And we keep going and going until you get one of those big moments where it's like unlocking the door. Like everything comes together in that moment. It's like, oh shit, I get it now. This is why I'm a fucking asshole. This is why I hate myself. This is why I keep eating pills. This is why I keep sleeping around. This is why this is why that. Once you can't fix what's broken if you don't know what's broken. You just know something's broken, but you're not sure why and where. But once you figure out the why and the where, you can fix it. But you're not going to fix it by avoiding. So anyway, just going to wrap this up. This went really long. 100 episodes from a guy that was not leaving his room, that wasn't living, that couldn't function, that had panic and fear and anxiety and guilt and shame and self-hate. And at the moment, there's almost none of that inside of me. In fact, when there's a disturbance in my body right now, if it comes up, I'm actually grateful that it showed up because it's like, oh, what was that? Oh, that felt like shame. All right, there's something there that we need to work on now. Instead of burying my head in sand and pretending it wasn't there, when you clear out enough space, you're able to kind of field it when it comes up. But right now, you are just completely overwhelmed. It is an emotional mess. You don't know where to look. You don't know where to start. So you just keep avoiding. But when you clear it out and you work through, you're going to welcome a bit of an anxiety, a bit of fear, a bit of shame, a bit of guilt. Because you know how to do it. You know how to work it. And you know that when you crack the code on whatever's coming up inside of you, you're going to be that much freer to live the life you want, to live the life you deserve. Because all of us, all of you listening, we all deserve better than what we have gotten from this life. And the only thing that's stopping you from having a good life right now is you and your default programming. You got to do something different. If it hasn't worked by now, it's never going to fucking work. So find the strength, find the courage, figure out a way to come out of hiding, find somebody to talk to. If you're working with them and you're not making any progress, fire them. Get them the fuck out of your life and go find somebody better for you. I'm not great for everybody, but some people I am. So when people fire me, when people don't come back after consultation, I don't take it personally. What I want is everybody to heal. And I don't care how you get there. But you got to come out of hiding. This podcast changed my fucking life. And I don't enjoy it. Like, I don't enjoy putting myself out there in this way. It is not fun for me. None of this has been pleasurable. It's been absolutely fucking necessary. And if I had a choice to do it or not do it, I would have probably chosen not to do it. But I didn't have a choice. For me, it was life or death. You need to figure out a way to heal and survive. And this is what showed up for me. So find your way. Find your path. Come in. Book a consultation. Let's sit down and talk. Let me send you off in the world with some tools and some guidance. What do you got to lose? It's up to you now. You have to divorce your parents. You have to leave home emotionally. You need to learn how to parent yourself. And you have to find a group or a community or somebody who you identify with, who gets it the way you get it, so that you can go to the places with this person that you need to go to heal. I can't thank you all enough. I really, truly, I'm going to get emotional. It has been incredible to have taken this journey with you. I mean, truly, my life, I never thought I would have gotten here. And this is the power of connecting on a real level. I got the rest of my life, whatever's left, and it's going to be good. And that's all we want, is peace, joy, happiness in our bodies, in our lives. And it is possible, but you're going to have to go through hell to get there. And you're going to have to walk through fear. You are already strong. You have survived, but now you need to get brave and courageous and shut that fucking voice up that keeps you hiding and start listening to the repressed, abandoned, abused, neglected voice and give it a place to speak. Take care. Thanks for listening. You can contact me at joeryan.com. Follow me on Instagram at joeryan. And if you want, you can leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. All right, take care.